Hey, you guys are here at this channel because it's different, right? We do things a little differently out here, right? Like the video, please. Like the video. Never thought I'd ask, but like the video because it helps people who need to be here check out the video and not just see this log, but perhaps be opened up to a whole new world. Appreciate y'all. I'll show you all my step counts. They're quite pathetic. I'm not proud of them, but I'd say, if anything, I try to keep myself from moving a little bit less when I'm prepping, just because I'm pretty damn expensive to power as is. So yeah, man, it's kind of like I'm just superbly anaerobic. It's probably the best way to describe it. I wanted to get greyhounds before I got my current dogs. And one of the things that kind of was confusing to me was the fact that they're known for being apartment dogs. So they don't require a whole lot of walking, a whole lot of exercise. They just chill all day. It's time to go. Yeah, like they'll absolutely go. But generally speaking, yeah, greyhounds are pretty sedentary outside of those short bursts. So not, I guess, very similar to myself in that way. But yeah, I think it's been a success up until this point. I think last week was kind of the first week where I kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Combination of things, man. Did I go to a concert? It was a combination of things. Anyhow, little flat, little watery. Saw my first weigh-in in the 160s. It's always crazy when I see that because I'm like, I'm 160 something, but it's a pseudo 160. You know, it's like most of the normal gym bros that you see up in the 200 pounds, right? It's like I do a better job with that 200 pounds than they do, right? And I'm not knocking them. It's just the truth of the matter, right? So it's a freaky number because I know how much muscle I have. And to see that on this, it just does not register to this day. But saw my first 160, and it was kind of a off training week. Feel better this week, recharged, did a fantastic job eating. Had a few days like carbs between 600, 700 calories, like hovering a little bit over 4K. And to the point where the day that I filmed, the day of eating for you guys yesterday, is kind of like my, I guess, almost optional refeed day. If I feel to some extent I didn't eat enough or those first 2 days didn't do much, I'll push it. But that third day is kind of in between a refeed, in between a low day. It's just definitely not a dieting day, not a day where I should be able to get a whole lot of fat loss from it. So that's what I got for you guys. You know, again, kind of a funny way of doing things, but you know, like, man, you do this long enough, you just build up a feel for this game. And it's nice to know that 95% of the time, the stuff that I do feel in terms of like my body's feedback, I know that years ago I could have mistaken it for something else. But now, like, I can trust that I understand what that signal is and what I'm supposed to do on my side, whether it comes to like my recovery, which is, you know, sleep, stress, all that jazz, whether it's my training, what I eat. It took a long time, man, but shoot, 20, 30 years of lifting. So you would hope I'd kind of understand what's going on at this point. But yeah, got some day of eating for y'all. Again, this day is probably around maintenance, so probably more of a traditional refeed, kind of, sort of. It's just basically the third day of my refeed cycle during the week. It just picks up on anything I might have missed. You know, I do this and I'm like, okay, this is one of that. And that's what that day usually is all about. Training a little bit, physique update. I'm done talking shit. Let's go. All right, meal one. Meal one. I command you to show yourself. 2 kiwi, what do they call? Sun Gold. 3 of these. 2 coconut waters. Meal one. Okay, sometimes you gotta get in where you fit in, a little crammed midday. My pre-gym shower is important. So my pre-workout meal, it's gonna be split in half and it's gonna be efficient. Have, what is this? I can't math right now. 24 ounces of pomegranate juice. And then I'm gonna go hop in the shower, pick my cute outfit for the day, and then 2 scoops of, PE Science vegan protein. And that's meal 2. Okay, there it goes. That's part 2 of meal 2. All right, here we go. Meal 3, post-workout. We have, how many ounces of steak is this?
That is 8.
8 ounces of steak, 7 ounces of sourdough bread, and some jam on the side that's coming up. There we go.
8 ounces of steak, 7 ounces of bread.
This has been a staple since the start. The sourdough bread and some sort of red meat. Probably stay there the whole way too. Bro, I went ham with the oil. We'll take some off, but at this point, we're not tracking this stuff yet. Okay, just wanted to show you how freaking bright these are. So 3 eggs along with that. This will be final meal of the day and maybe something to drink. All right, check out this Ridge wallet. Amazing. No more Boomer wallets for this guy. This is the final product. Needed some fats, needed some protein, and hey, couldn't think of much better ways to end the day with what I have here, of course. So that's final meal. So all things considered, even though I pushed too hard this week, thankfully, it was the beginning of the next ramp up. So post deload, back into it. I'm always a little bit rusty when I get back to my heavy lifting. So I actually like to build up my load. So 2 sets on this dumbbell press. I was munching on 110s before, had actually graduated to the 115s. But what I did was I set with 105, I set with 110, both sets of 6, so the lower end of my rep range. And then come next week, I'm probably gonna go 110 to the 115s that I'm supposed to be working on, sets of 6. That's the plan, right? But we'll see how these dimensions feel, because every week it's a new body, man. But all things considered, look, we spurted a bit. At this body fat, I can get away with it. However, consecutive weeks, probably not. And the funny thing is, man, I'm kind of selling myself out here, but I would say that for the most part, the process of me dieting, I don't think it hurts me as much as it hurts other folks. I sometimes it's hard to differentiate, because part of it might just be the fact that I've done this enough times that you just learn to consolidate the suck better, right? You kind of also know what's around every corner and how to brace for it. But I guess the double edge there, it's like, okay, it's like I got those habits. Also, there's some physiological predispositions to just being a bit on the leaner side. But what that means is sometimes I can give away muscle mass and not even feel it. Like I don't feel worse. Like energy, I don't feel like all that bad. I same thing with all the hormonal stuff, like same stuff. Like it's just like it just sneak by me. So I need to be careful when it comes to that. So we're doubling up, and this week we're going to chill a little bit more. So yeah, I'm quite surprised. Again, it was a ramp up week, but my presses are usually very telling, and no, everything felt pretty standard for the most part. And honestly, I think every prep, I say this, and then every prep there's always something I have to work on. Although the last prep, I would say that at the end of it, I'm like, given what I had, what I came into the prep with, like in regards to physique, I did well. I did really well. And there wasn't a whole lot of things I would scrutinize, other than the fact that perhaps the off-season part of it, I guess, yeah, again, and I've spoken about this, I kind of got chillaxed about that. I'm like, every time I show up, I'm a little better, so I just let time do its thing, but you need to have some urgency there. So big shame there, but we corrected that this off-season. But yeah, man, like all over, like my inner thighs here, man, like they're just like flat and dry, and that wasn't the case about a week ago. So again, there was some spurts. I'm really trying to not chase those lows. I talk about that a lot, because when you think about it, it's like we've all seen that diagram with like fat, like, and how much volume it has relative to muscle. So to me, it's like every pound I lose should be, especially since I'm for my frame, I'm pretty well muscled. This is where I was like, damn, dude, you stringy, bro. This was towards the end of the week. Yeah, like every pound, because again, fat spreads, it's fluffy, right? Should leave a mark, especially at this point where I'd say, I wouldn't say I'm single digit body fat just yet. I'm like right outside of that. Which is crazy, because honestly, what this means is a lot of people right away, they go to the like, well, that means I must be 20-some% body fat. Yeah, you might be. But also, I think a lot of the goal physiques that maybe you guys look at, a lot of the goal physiques that you envision for yourself, they're probably 14% body fat. Like, who cares? Because it's a look at the end, right? And I only know these body fat percentages because, like, for me, it's like very easy to pinpoint what I'm going to be, what I'm heading for, which is just basically pushing the limits of having only essential fat while keeping as much muscle as possible. So yeah, like that's why I know I'm not concerned with it, because at the end it's a look, right? This was the next week, a little bit more fuller. Like, usually when you're weak muscle groups, the ones that are really weak, like, because they just don't respond as well. It's not a structural thing. It's not a technique thing, errors in your programming. Like, usually, like for me, those are the first muscles to flatten out. And I'd say that my hamstrings relative to my glutes and my quads, those babies will flatten out. And last week, they looked terrible. But this week, it's like, oh, okay, that's what I remember them looking like. And they were so much easier to work with. So again, this was post-refeed. Legs are nice and full. Always the first thing to fill out on me. They're very, as is the case for a lot of people who like, okay, this is just a strong body part. The tissue there is just very nutrient sensitive. So it goes there first. So yeah, RDLs. This is my new glute dominant leg press. Hip glute dominant. As you can see, I set myself up so that I don't tire the leg that I'm using with like both feet, help myself with an initial push, and then I just do my thing. But I love this, man, because that other one, it's like loading it, unloading it, especially when it's like a more hip dominant leg press. Boy, was it just, I was not looking forward to it. And honestly, I've talked about this before, I like how my hips are flexed. So as soon as that femur starts moving, that glute is being like tugged nicely. Yes, there will be load limitations at a certain point. That's probably more of an off-season thing. I'm almost at the end, but I can still add a 45 to it if I want. Just kind of like, pin it, gym pin it, right? So yeah, I mean, I saw this video and I was like, okay, yeah, last week we looked bad. Throwing in a little hip flexor work here. My sartorius has always been just a standout body part. So I figured, hey, like, it's relatively untrained when it comes to direct work. And I just got tired of doing my my tibialis. Just wanted to work on a new muscle as I was prepping, see if it grew. So we'll see how this goes. These are my calf raises. I think at this point this was like a 1.5-minute set, because there's partials on top of that, and then the pauses take so long. You can see here that there's like levels of relax, like it's like I get into that, what I think is the end of the range of motion at the bottom, and then like your body kind of lets go a little bit. And once like there's 2 pulses, then I bring it back. You can see how I jimmy rigged the load up there too, so that, because this is one that I am maxing out. Oh, I think this was my last one. This has to be my last one. Don't do it to yourself, Bert. Oh no, he went for more. Let's see how far this one moves. So yeah, I get to failure on my last set, and then I finish it off with these partials, because again, there's all this stuff that doesn't get touched. This is the physique. These are the weigh-ins. I'm really spilled over here, but that's because I'm trying to recover from last week. But still, there's some new hard spots. Again, this lighting, super harsh. But the thing is, if I see a line, if I see a vein here, guess what? With those like really strong overhead lights, it's gonna be there. And there goes the glutes. They're much tighter than this. You'll see. Maybe I'll get a video by the end of the week so you guys can compare. But they'll be much tighter. A lot of it is just stuff that's floating around. So yeah, ooh, we are spilled. See you guys next week.